welcome back to the Be Still podcast. I'm your host, Rebekah Saller, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, one of my best friends, Emma Berkeley. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
This is so exciting. Emma has been a huge supporter of me starting the podcast last season, so I'm super pumped that you're on finally.
Thank you.
That I'm home.
So excited to be on.
Yay. We're back. Well, I'm back home, so we're in a different studio, as you guys know, but yeah, super excited that you're on, and we've been dreaming about this for a long time.
It's true. It's been a long time coming.
It has. Before we jump in, tell me a little bit just about yourself so we know who you are.
Well, right now I'm in college. I'm a student at Plymouth State. So I leave back to school in a few weeks.
No.
But I know I'm just so honored to have met you a year ago at that Bible study. And the Lord has really brought us so much community this past year. We just had a recent beach worship night.
So
Plug
good.
the Yield young adults.
Yes. Come if you're in New England.
Yes. If you're a young adult looking for community.
Yes.
It was just such a sweet time with the Lord and to reflect on how He's moving in hearts and how we're gaining more understanding of His heart. And it's just so sweet to see in friendships and in community.
Yeah, so good, so good. Maybe that was your highlight of the summer, but like, what's something fun this summer that you've done, or I don't know, something that's been like super great?
Well, we have a new little friend group
We've
been hanging out with. Lots of game nights with some of the young adults from church and just building community, like playing games with everyone is so much fun.
So fun.
Just a good time to get to know one another and get out the house. And
yes.
Yeah.
It's been so good. I'm so thankful that community didn't end for me, like ending college. I feel like it's like an extension of college, so it's been such a blessing. But yay. Well, okay, so we're going to be talking about a topic today that I'm really excited about just because I feel like it's not talked about. I mean, I feel like it's talked about, but like we're going to share our perspective, and this is like a conversation that's an overflow of just what we've talked about in our lives. Just walking through different seasons together, and we're going to be talking about singleness and stereotypes in singleness, because I don't know, we were talking and we were just like, I feel like a lot of people say these different things, but like, are they true? Are they not true? So we have a list of them, and we're going to get into it, and then we're also going to give advice at the end, but we're going to kind of just start lighthearted and fun.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, we're going to jump right into it. So I'm just going to read I'm going to read like one, and then we can kind of like share our thoughts like quickly, and then we'll go through. So, okay, first one. You'll find someone when you stop looking or when you least expect it.
This one's a classic. This one's a classic.
What do you think?
Well, everyone often says this, and usually it's those who are older and married and have children even, and they're asking you if you're seeing anyone, if you got your eye on anyone, and they're like, well, don't worry about it, like it'll come when you least expect it, or it'll come when you stop looking for it. And I think that can be so discouraging, because it's like the Lord has placed this desire in each of us in our hearts, and to just negate that and to be told when we're not looking at it, then it will come. It's like, how can we be faithful in that, I think, is the question I ask.
Yeah. But no, that's so good. And I also feel like for me, I'm like, how am I not going to be looking for it? Like, if it's a desire in our heart, like, it's not just like, oh, when I'm not desiring it, then the Lord just flips a switch. Like, the Lord's not like that. He's not going to trick us. And so I don't like when people say that. I think it's more the idea of like, maybe when you stop having it be your priority focus. But I still don't even think that. I think the Lord works in so many different ways, and sometimes He can bring someone right when you're expecting it, So I would disagree with that statement, or I would push back on that 100%. One a little bit.
And like you said, just like the Lord isn't out to trick us. He's not out to tease us, where it's like, oh, I gave you this desire, but you got to stop thinking about it. Yeah. And then I'll give it to you. Like,
right. Like He gave that desire for a reason.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So good. Okay. You still need to grow. That's why you're not dating someone.
I was actually just talking to a friend about this, where it's like the preparation before marriage. And it's like, while we're in singleness, how to steward it without it feeling like we have to have it all together before we start dating. And I just think it comes down to the heart. And if you're posturing yourself before the Lord and allowing him to change and grow your heart, then it gets less on a destination of like, I have to make this amount of progress before the Lord will send me my husband, you know?
For sure. No, that's so good. Yeah, and like I feel like I see both sides of it. I feel like this one is like in the middle where I'm like, yeah, some people do need to grow. Sometimes like if they get out of a relationship, it's like, no, you need to heal, you need to grow.
Yeah.
And sometimes the Lord wants that growth. But also sometimes I've seen where the Lord grows a couple together and that's their story. Exactly. And so I would say I see both sides on that one. But
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think it can go either way. Yeah. Like it's important to grow.
Yes. For sure.
For sure.
For sure. Okay. Just put yourself out there.
I really don't like this one.
Me either.
I really don't like this one.
No, same. I hate this one.
I don't want to, like, in the sense of putting yourself out there, it's so important, like, not to just be seeking that out, I think, and that to be at the forefront of our minds, like, especially in us building a community. It's like, I don't want to show up to every event being like, is my husband here? Like, you know what I mean?
For sure.
I think putting yourself out there in the sense of like not being closed off, but I don't think you have to be making yourself known in order to like for someone to find you.
I agree. Well, and I think unless you're just sitting on your couch all day, like, well, also I've had so many conversations, like our generation is so different in dating from other generations, like Gen Z, we're doing it wrong sometimes. And I just think like the Lord will have the right guy see you at the right time. And I don't know. I just feel like you hear from older people like, oh, you're not dating anyone. Why aren't you putting yourself out there? No, I am. I'm going to every single young adults day. I'm going to every single whatever, you know, and it's like, it's not a reflection of you. The right person has to see you for who you are. And also I just think that's a loaded question with our generation, but.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you need to move somewhere else or to a different state.
This one hasn't been big for me, but I'm sure it's been big for you, maybe going to Missouri for school. I just think it's like, some people are like, there's nobody in my area, so I have to move in order to find somebody. Like, I think a lot of it comes back to trusting in the Lord, which is hard, but he'll meet you where you're at. Spiritually and physically. Like you don't have to move to another state or country just to find someone.
I know. I used to fall into that trap because before I had community here, I used to be like, there's no one in New England that loves the Lord. And like I stood on that, and then the Lord kind of like well, the Lord did bring so much like girl community into my life. And then I remember like him convicting me and being like, if I can bring 15 amazing godly girls into your life in New England, you don't think I can bring one, you know? And it was like kind of convicting because I used to think like, oh, there's no one here. But then it was like, no, like you said, the Lord, we can't put him in a box. He's not like, he can literally bring someone into our life and like he knows our story. So it's not just gonna be like, oh, you didn't move to Florida, so you didn't meet someone, you know? Oh, well, yeah. But yeah.
I think if you're trusting in the Lord and say he leads you to another state, then I think he'll honor that, and you know you'll meet whoever you're meant to meet there. But as far as feeling like you have to go someplace or do something to get that, I think is a reflection of our trust in the Lord.
This one's kind of, I feel like, in the middle, but you need to be fully healed to date.
That one's tough.
That one is tough. I feel like this is very situational based.
I agree. Like you had said previously, talking about specifically relationships, like if I'm in a relationship and it doesn't work out and we break up, I think there is definitely a healing time period that you have to undergo with the Lord before then getting yourself involved in something else.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And I feel like if we're talking about past relationships, like, yes, you should be healed from that. I feel like if it's other stuff, like even like trauma or growing up things, I think there needs to be a lot of personal development and growth before you can be mature in a relationship in that sense. But I also think that we're never done healing, or we're never done like being worked on. The Lord is always working on us, or like, that sounds bad, but like the Lord is always refining us, right? And so we're never going to arrive somewhere, so you can't just wait till you arrive to be in a relationship.
Exactly.
But I do think there's a level of health that needs to happen so that you can pursue someone else in a healthy and God-honoring way.
Exactly.
Okay, next one is God is protecting you / hiding you.
We've talked about this.
We have talked about this one.
I might agree with this one.
Yeah.
I might agree with this one because, to me, something that has really helped me in my singleness, I've been single for the past 20 years, is thinking of the love that the Lord has for me. And that is why I think, maybe I haven't met my husband yet, is trusting the fact that the Lord is protecting me and like protecting my heart and not just giving me away to anybody. I think there's a level of protection and guarding in that. And I think it's a reflection on the love of the Lord for us. It doesn't always feel like it because it's like you get into a group situation and you're like, nobody's really noticing me, or like, why? May it be happening for other people, but not for me. But I think it is just truly the Lord's love and his protection.
Yeah. That's so good. And it takes a lot of like maturity to switch your mindset to that because it's not easy. And I know we've talked about that. Also, side note, I forgot to say this earlier. We are both single in the sense that, not like, just to preface, like, because I know that so many of these conversations come when people are married and it's like so easy for you to say, like, you got the blessing. But this is like a real conversation with people who are in this situation, like right now.
Actively walking through.
Actively walking through. So I did want to preface that and I forgot to say that. So thank you for saying that. No, but I agree. I feel like it's easy to be like, God, you're cruel. Why does no one see me? You know? But yeah, when you switch your mindset to like, no, like it's his kindness. Yeah, that like I'm hidden. And even though it doesn't always feel like it, it is because he wants to save you for that right person, you know? And maybe he knows our hearts. Maybe he knows that we would fall hard for someone that's not the right person, you know? And so, yeah, I think the Lord does hide those that he loves. I mean, he loves all of us, but like, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. This one you hear a lot in the church. Don't idolize marriage.
We do hear this a lot. But I also think that it happens a lot.
Yes.
Idolization of marriage. True. I think it's navigating, and maybe this comes with a sense of maturity in the Lord. Navigating the line between recognizing this is a desire the Lord has given us and, working towards growing in that and being prepared for that season of life. And then idolizing it and putting it maybe above the Lord and thinking that we're going to get anything out of a relationship that we can't get from Jesus.
Yeah. It's definitely a heart issue with like the Lord, not a relationship, in the sense of like, is he enough?
Yeah.
This one I made a face with this one because like I love the church, big church girl. Like I'm not like hating on the church here, but I do think that this is something that our generation can find really frustrating because I feel like so often we hear like, why aren't you dating? Like look for people in the church, but then they're like screaming at us too in the sense of don't idolize marriage. Like, why are you always talking about marriage? And it's like, we're getting like these mixed messages where it's like, find your person, but don't think about it too much. And it's like, what do you want from me?
If you're having a conversation with anybody over the age of 30 who's married in the church, they're asking you if you're dating somebody.
Yes. And then they're trying to set you up with someone or different things. And it's like, okay, but then you're also saying, but don't idolize it. Well, okay, well, you are telling me to find someone. So I think this one is just frustrating sometimes. I think let's just not say those at all in church, you know?
Let's not put the pressure on.
Yeah. And so I think as a church, overall global church, we can do better with that.
Yeah, I agree. And especially because we don't want to be moving to appease the church or like, okay, I'll agree to this date because you guys won't stop nagging me about it,
so true.
We don't want it to come from that.
No. The next one, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but is like, once you're content in the Lord, it will come, which I know we kind of talked about that before, but I do have a thought on this one because I've learned this, is I used to think that being content meant my desire went away. Because I remember being like, how do I fully become content in the Lord? And like, I don't think about this anymore. And I remember like talking to a mentor and she was like, being content in the Lord does not mean that you lose that desire to be married. And like, I don't know, it should have clicked earlier, but it didn't click in my brain. I was just like, oh, contentness means that I'm not thinking about it. And it's like, no, you can be fully content in the Lord and be like, Lord, thank you for where I'm at right now and I'm pursuing you, but yet still like want that.
Exactly.
And so I think, I don't know, that's just something that I've been learning is like those can coexist together.
That's good. Yeah. And I think we treat singleness as a burden or as something we should be rushing out of. And I think in that sense, contentment plays a role of recognizing that, yeah, we do have this desire and it is God-given and we don't have to like just get rid of it in order to be content, you know? They can coexist, like you said.
Yeah.
But it's also like not wishing away our singleness in a sense. The Lord can do so much through us as single women and just in Him and to others through Him. So.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, it's like your life doesn't start when you get married. Like,
exactly.
It always feels like the end goal, but it's not.
Exactly.
Okay, last one, and then we're going to go into some like deeper questions and different thoughts. But the last one that you hear is like, don't rush singleness. Marriage is so hard.
Yes. Singleness is hard.
Singleness is hard too.
Singleness is hard too.
Yeah.
I think every season has its highs and its lows and ups. And you know what I mean? I think obviously not to negate the fact that marriage is so hard.
Yeah.
In navigating that, but so is singleness and so is dating and so is every phase of life we go through. So I think to say that in hopes of making a single person feel better it's not
because it's like we still want that. Don't like undermine it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I once heard someone say like who was talking about singleness and marriage and they were married now and they were like yeah, marriage is hard, but so is singleness and I rather have marriage. Like in the sense that she was saying like marriage is hard, but like she was trying to be like, you know, singleness is hard too and I want to like also share like show that, but she was like, yeah, I would rather have marriage. I would rather have that hard. Like there's different
like
hearts.
Choose your heart.
Yes, choose your heart. And you know, because there's refinement in that and everything and they're just different. But yeah, I think it's like, don't say that. Don't like, because then also that makes us have a skewed idea of marriage too. Because it's like, well,
it could have the opposite effect of like, now I'm like scared to be married. Yes. Or I'm worried. You're saying you're on the other side of this and you're saying it's so hard. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want it to be harder than what I'm having to go through right now. You know?
And it's like, yes, I think we can like fantasize it and like hype it up to be what we see on Instagram, all these Instagram reels. And it's like, yeah, that's not reality. That really isn't.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to talk about that later, social media and all that. But all right, we're going to jump into some deeper questions now, or just like thoughts that we have and that we've talked about. Not as much stereotypes, but
okay. Something that I've been like walking through lately in singleness is just like not necessarily the joy of singleness, but the fruit that can be bared for us in this season of life and the grace that the Lord has for us as single people. Like He's not forgotten about us. He's not chosen to bless other people over us in marriage. I think it's like we can embrace this time that we have with the Lord that we're never going to get again because we'll be married, because we'll have kids, and that becomes a priority, not above the Lord, but it's up there, you know?
Yeah.
And so all of these things can take away. And so I think utilizing this time and seeing all that the Lord can do through you while you're single is very important. And I've seen the fruit of that in my life of just embracing, you know, I'm single, so what? Like, let's see what the Lord can do in that, you know? And I think being expectant of that is huge.
Yeah. No, that's so true. There's like such an opportunity, which it's like, again, like you're always growing. You should always be growing in your relationship with the Lord, even when you're married.
Yeah.
Like we should always be doing that. But there is such a devoted time in the sense of like, yeah, we think we're busy, but like when you're like married, you have like someone else that you're always with, and it's just you and Jesus. And there's that verse, I cannot remember where it is, but that's like talks about the fact that like when you're single, like it's you and the Lord, but then you have divided attention when you're married. Exactly. I don't know if you know where that verse is. I feel like it's in the New Testament, but I don't know where. But like that's literally a fact, is like your attention's going to be split more. And so this is such a like valuable time to really pour into your relationship with the Lord and even like serve and like do all these different things that like you might not be able to do, you know, and focus on like being the best in the Lord that you can, so that when you are dating that person, you are in a good place where you can like fully give to them.
Exactly.
You know?
The phrase like waiting well, I feel like so many people have just said, like married people, like, oh, you just have to wait, you know, wait well, like, but it's like, I don't want to be waiting for the Lord, you know, to move in marriage. Like, he can move now,
right?
He's still blessing us now, you know.
Yeah, and I understand why they say wait, but it's just like, no, let's be doing.
Exactly.
You know, let's be like pursuing, like, well, like in the sense of pursuing the Lord well, and not just waiting around, bettering ourselves.
I know we had touched upon this a little bit earlier, specifically with the church.
Yes.
Always asking us like about dating, if we're seeing anyone. But I think because social media is so big in our generation that it's like sometimes it's all I see on my feed.
Yes.
And so sometimes it's hard to like the struggle, the tension between, okay, I've laid this down at your feet, Lord, but now it's constantly being fed back to me of like, I should be in a relationship, or I should be farther in life, or, you know.
Yeah, and I agree. It's always in our face with social media. Or it's the fact that I went to a Christian college, and every single time I get on Instagram, someone's engaged. Like, you know,
it's hard.
It is hard. And so it's like really in our face more than ever, I feel.
I agree.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit. Okay, this is kind of a little steering off, but I think we've also talked about our frustrations with our generation in dating and how it literally is so different. Like every generation's different with that. But I know that I get frustrated a lot, and there's a lot of things that I think that we could do better. So maybe we address some of those.
Yeah.
And not coming at any specific guy or girl, whatever. Like some are more towards guys, more at girls. And like obviously these are kind of stereotypical, but like things that we're seeing and that we're feeling.
Yeah.
Just to help validate. Like I feel like sometimes I'm like, am I crazy? And it's like, no, other people feel this too.
Yes.
It's a generational thing.
I think because so much is over the phones now, like in texting and DMing and oh, so-and-so liked my story. Like,
Oh,
what does that even mean? You know, where it's like, I think it's so hard not to read into that, into like, especially because we are saving ourselves. It's like, okay, I'm not investing in every single conversation I have with someone. So when, you know, I think it might be something, I'm like, oh, like, you know, is this something? How do they feel? How, you know, how do I feel? What's their intention behind this? I think Gen Z has done a poor job as a whole of intentionality in the pursuing in relationships. I think it's a lot of it's been in the gray area, or it's been casual, like,
for sure,
oh, you know, we're talking, or yeah, we're hanging out, but like don't want to put a label on it. But it's like, I think you're either forming attachments that aren't super healthy, or you're just leaving too much to the wandering thoughts, and you know.
No, I agree 100%. I think social media has messed up a lot of dating, and I think that's where we've kind of gone wrong, in the sense of even like, I don't know, I feel like we all see these like super beautiful families with all these kids and stuff on Instagram and all these things, and it's like sometimes it's just unrealistic ideas that we have. And I think we've lost also, there's like the fear of too many options. And I've seen that a lot at college, of like, we have access to, we could be texting someone who lives 2,000 miles away from us, where like when I would talk to my parents, they would just date within their friend group and their sphere that was in their life. Like if there was a good person that they got along with, they probably married that person in that friend group, you know what I mean? Or like in that like sphere of their life. But like we have so many options with dating apps, and like the fact that we can just like follow someone on Instagram who lives forever far away, like,
and start talking to them.
And like you can date someone. And so I have found that like people have a fear of, what if there's someone better? And I just hate that. I think that's a lie from the enemy.
I agree.
Like, yes, let's be real, there will always be someone better. There are so many people in this world. You will probably find someone more attractive, or someone that maybe you get along with better. But guess what? If God has placed someone in front of your life that you get along with so well, that you're attracted to, that you have so much fun with, like, date that person, marry that person, like pursue that person.
So, waiting for the right one that's going to check all of the boxes, it's going to be everything at 100%, like, that's just I think you're setting the bar too high and you're putting too much on it, especially when it's like you do find a really nice, you know, godly man whose foundations line up with yours, whose morals line up with yours, and like I think you owe it to yourself, to try that out and to see where that goes, and to not wait, for something better to come along, I think.
Yeah, because you could be waiting all your life.
Exactly.
Because there's always going to be something better that comes along. But I think that's something that, especially social media, it's great because it connects so many people, but also I think it can make things worse a lot of times too. And like you said, like social media has just made things so confusing with like texting and like liking stories and DMing and all of that. And it's like, especially in the church world, I feel like the church world can be worse.
Yes.
Because then it's like, you're like, oh, this guy's like intentionally asking about like, because like there's a thing about like spiritual like connections, like even like praying with someone, like stuff like that I think people don't think into very much, but there's like spiritual connections that can tie someone. It's like, okay, if you're crossing the boundaries, like someone might think that there's something there. And so I think you have to be careful with stuff like that.
I was never one for like the whole like chaperoning thing, like in the church,
same.
where, you know, but I think I understand the point of that, where it's like you do have to be careful one-on-one guy-girl interactions, especially within the church, because like you said, the spiritual aspect of it, like if I'm connecting with you on a spiritual level, it's very easy for that to slip into the emotional.
Yes.
And, you know, somebody could catch feelings and that just not be, you know, I think that ties back into also intention as well. And like being upfront, you know. When was the last time like a guy's asked you on a date?
Like in person.
Not over the phone.
No, I know. Well, that's the thing too that I was gonna lead into is like, I'm not just coming at guys here, but I know guys are biblically are supposed to be more the pursuers, but like, let's be so real. I think we've lost that art a little bit, or like in our generation, because I know like I've talked to so many girls who are amazing girls. Like we have a girls' Bible study, beautiful girls, amazing girls.
Everyone's beautiful,
literally, and most of them are single. Not joking. And we're all like, where are the godly guys? Why is no one stepping up? And it's like, there are godly guys, but like, and it feels like sometimes it's a reflection of you. You're like, wait, why is no one asking me out? But sometimes it's like, okay, well, the guys also aren't asking you out. You know, like it's not a reflection always on you, but I feel like the art of pursuing has been lost through social media, but also just like, I think our generation is afraid to take risks, like in the sense of like, we're afraid to get hurt. But I think that's part of it. Yeah. Like if someone says no, well, then they're not the one for you. There's someone else.
Growth in that.
There is. And like, I'm not like undermining that. That's probably terrifying as a guy. Like I'm not saying that's easy at all. I mean, I would be afraid to do that. But also I think that that's attractive to a girl when a guy is like, hey, I would love to get to know you. Can I take you on a date? Like it's that simple. But also to the girls, I think you should give a guy a date. I used to not be like that, and I stand on that in the sense of like, unless they are screaming red flags, like or they're like a creep or something, I'm like, don't do that. But like I have had many times where maybe I'm not into that person, but I'm a good friend with them, or I respect that they even asked me. Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna honor you asking me and having the guts to ask me that. Yes, I will give you a date. It doesn't mean it has to go to a second one, but I will honor you and say yes to that.
That's good. And I think speaking not abashed to the girls in our generation, like we were saying, the lines can get a little blurred for Christians specifically. Because it's hard to tell. And it's like, I don't know if you're just coming to me, you know, because you're really interested in my testimony, or like, you know, or if it's to pursue me. But I think as women, it's important for us not to be playing like mind games, and to just be mindful of, I think, the things that we're saying, or the things that we could be texting, you know, guys, and like the like just the confusing. I think it just gets very confusing, and it leaves a little too much to the imagination, you know, in the sense of like, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes. No, for sure. And I'm like all for girls like dropping the handkerchief, in the sense of like, give a little clue, but I don't think girls should be like the pursuers. Also, what would you say, sorry, I'm kind of jumping around, like if you were to talk to, like, people might be wondering, okay, well, you guys are saying all this stuff, but like how should we approach this? Especially like friendships in the church. How do you approach it in a godly way where it's like, yeah, I'm getting to know you as a friend, but I'm not crossing lines of like where it can get a little gray, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm saying this all not to like be putting more rules or like, you know,
yeah, same.
thinking that Christians have to act a certain way. I just think in the sense of protecting my own heart, like it is important to have certain boundaries of like, say I become really good friends with a guy in church, like I'm going to limit the amount that we text outside of church.
Yeah.
Or even the one-on-one conversations that we're having, like making sure it's either Christ-centered or if it's not, just not letting the conversation wander too far into like, you know, unless it's going in that way, you know what I mean? I think girls can get a little flirty, you know, and that's not a bad thing, but I just think it's like, if we want the man to be intentional, then we also have to be intentional,
right?
In the sense of like certain questions we may ask, or you know, pressing deeper into certain things. I know, because we as women love like deeper connections. I think it's like,
true.
I don't want to ask this or to be saying this and you take it like I'm really interested in you.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, and I think that's where like we have to be careful too as girls. Like if a guy's texting you and asking you a lot of questions, like if you're interested, yeah, ask them back, text them back. But if you're not, be kind, but don't keep going with it.
Exactly.
Because then you're confusing him, you're confusing yourself. But also, guys, I don't think like if you're not interested in a girl, you shouldn't be texting her a ton either. Yeah, I don't know. That's how I personally am. I'm like, I'm not just texting a bunch of guys like that unless I'm interested, you know? Yeah. So I just feel like there's good boundaries in that sense.
Yeah. I think there's a way to go about getting to know people in the church without it crossing over into the, does he like me? Does he not? Does she like me? Does she not? Yeah. And that's natural and normal, like to wonder that. But when you're getting or giving signs that could be interpreted as that, I think is like, we just need to be more intentional.
Yeah. Love that other person well, in the sense of like, be kind to them. Yes. Again, our heart is not to be like, there's all these rules and things. We're just having an honest conversation about things that we literally discuss and talk about in life. I hope it's helpful to like those of you who are watching, of just being like, you know what, I feel validated, you know, I'm not crazy, but also maybe this is helpful to someone.
And it's such a hard thing to navigate too. Like,
it is. It's so hard.
Especially in the church, because there are so many people that are just trying to get to know one another and just trying to deepen connections, you know, that can be used to further the kingdom. I just think, yeah, like you said, kindness and just being considerate of other people and their feelings goes a long way. Yeah. Not to like be dancing around, you know, being worried every single thing you say. I think it's just, you know, I think we all know when it can get a little too far. And
for sure. Yeah, for sure. To wrap this up, just one final thought that I know that we've talked about, and that I had struggled with for a while, was how can I like have enough trust in the Lord that he's going to provide this desire for me when it's not a promise? Because there's a lot of things in scripture the Lord's promised to us, and we can hold fast to that of like, yes, I know like who the Lord is, and I know that like he's faithful, right? Well, he is a faithful God, but like, what do we do with this desire when it's like, okay, Lord, I give it to you and I trust you, but also I don't know if I'm going to get it?
Yeah. I think a few things. One, the Lord has so much mercy for us and so much grace. And it's important to remember that he wouldn't give us these desires just for fun or just, you know, to see what we do with it. Like, it is honorable to surrender that desire to the Lord, even God given, but the Lord also honors that desire in our own hearts. And like we've said before, the Lord's not going to tease us. And so if he's given me this desire and I give it back to him and it's still something that I desire, then I can trust in the fact that the Lord is going to honor that. If I'm using it to glorify him and it's not for, you know, maybe my own selfish reasons, or I'm trying to hold on to it like this. Like, if I give it to the Lord and say, Lord, I believe this is a desire you have given me, and I thank you for that, and I surrender this to you. Like, I truly believe that he will honor that, and we can trust in that. That verse that you had brought up earlier of like, it's in 1 Corinthians 7, where Paul talks about like, it is better to be unmarried, but if you're burning with that desire, then it is better to be married. Like, I truly believe that. it is the Lord's desire to give that to us. And so as long as we're giving it back to him, we can trust in that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that like will look so different because everyone's timeline's different, right? And like we said, like the Lord's not a genie. It's not like, oh, be content and then I'll give it to you. Like, but in that trusting it and that waiting, it's a heart posture of like, okay, Lord, do I trust you enough not to get the gift? Like, am I going to surrender not to get the spouse, whatever? But like, it's a heart reflection of, do I love you enough that like I would lay down my life and still not get this thing? But also at the same time, like that verse that says like hope deferred makes a heart sick. Have hope, have joy that the Lord's going to give you that desire. Like be excited about that, you know? Pursue the Lord and like work on yourself, but also don't be like, oh, well, I'm not going to be excited about this because it might never happen. Because I got to that point one time where I was like, Emma, this is never going to happen, whatever. And then I like remembered that verse and I was like, you know what? No, I can have hope in the Lord. Just like when you're waiting for a miracle. But it's like, but we can have hope because otherwise, like, that's where faith comes in that sense. So, but I do agree in the fact that I think the Lord will honor those desires of our heart if he has given them to us so strongly.
And it's such a classic, but like even the story of Abraham and the fact that he received that blessing of Isaac from the Lord, he had to wait for it first of all. And then he received it and he was asked to give that back to the Lord. And obviously we all know he did not have to, you know, do that and go through with that. But it's the heart posture of, like you had said earlier, like, is the Lord's love enough for us? And I believe that it is. And I believe that we can hold on to the desire without it being like, I need this because I'm not going to get it from the Lord. Like the Lord's love is sufficient for us and he has everything that we need. A marriage would just be a bonus.
Yes, so true. I was just going to say that he is everything we need. Yeah, the Lord is everything. And in all, like, yes, we have these desires and he created marriage. It's so good. But he also created singleness and it's good, you know? And so, yeah, these are just real thoughts that we've been having. And I hope that it's been encouraging to you guys. And yeah,
be able to talk about this. I hope it was an encouragement to anybody who is just discouraged in singleness. Like we know how it is.
We do.
It's rough out
we know.
here.
It's rough. It's rough out there. No, but thank you so much for coming on and just being a friend and someone that I can always go to. Like Emma, even though I went to school 1,000 miles away from her, she was the girl that we would do Bible studies through the phone every week. We'd be like, what do you think? We'd study all these different books together. And so I'm grateful for you and the way that you pour into my life and the fact that this conversation is an overflow of our friendship too. So I'm really grateful for you.
So grateful for you.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And we'll see you on the next episode next week. Bye.
Bye.